What's up? We're Miami Soundwave. I'm Kira.
And this is Bonnie Beats.
And this is Soundwave Sessions.
Woo, thank you guys for joining us. Today we're going to talk about mental health, which is something very prevalent to the industry and definitely merits a conversation. So Kira and I are going to go ahead and touch base on that. And if you guys have any comments, leave them in the, comment section below. Let us know what you think. We want to hear from you. And yeah, so let's talk about mental health. What has been your experience with mental health in terms of like DJing, the music industry?
I feel like there's so many different ways that this conversation can branch out. Even yesterday I was talking about it with a close friend of mine, like our conversation in our past podcast. Dating, relationships, friendship, family, and then from that, your personal mental health of like how you take care of yourself, your eating habits, your views on how you look, how you feel, all of that. So I think that there's a lot to talk about.
So what would be like some of your self-care routines? Like what is important, especially before a gig or maybe even after a gig? What do you feel like you have to do to kind of realign or recenter yourself?
I feel like you definitely have to what's it called? Decompress.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes after, you've just been bumping loud music, I just like to sit in silence. I like to reflect on the energy and everything and just be grateful and have gratitude towards the experience and just sitting quiet, it be in my car with the AC blasting super cold and just be by myself at least for a little bit. And but sometimes you head to party two right after. So with that time, you just have to put yourself together and refresh yourself mentally to go to the next place or to go to the next spot or to go see the next DJ or go to the club and do different stuff. So yeah, I definitely need to decompress though.
I feel you, because I know for me, I do, even to this day, I've been doing this for a hot minute, but I still get I get a little anxious before my gigs and my sets.
I'm talking about after.
Talking about after?
Yeah.
I'm talking about before and after.
Okay,
and
that was
during.
just about after. Yeah, and during too. There's been times, not to interrupt, but that you just feel a little overwhelmed or, sometimes one little thing happens and you're just tripping out about it. You just need to pull yourself together quick and through that just be everything is fleeting and everything is okay and just
I'm gonna remember that next time you have a little mini meltdown behind the decks. That's what I call it out in front of everybody. It happens to all of us. It happens to me. I used to do this thing. Oh my goodness. I've gotten way better. But in the beginning, the first few years of me DJing, especially the bigger shows, I would sometimes, especially if it was a nightclub, I would hide. I would literally duck down and just breathe.
Yeah, no, that's important.
I would I would just ghost. And it's not funny because we have a lot of DJs, a lot of us have a bad image. Or we have we get a bad rep for being
douchey.
For being party animals. People think I'm doing other things down there, and I'm not. Look, I'm just really just trying to collect myself. I would just go down there and breathe, because I would stress out so much, and then I would just train wreck, or I would catch the mistakes, and I'm I need to collect myself.
Yeah.
Anxiety is a real ass thing. You have, it definitely needs to be acknowledged and then handled.
And even aside from work in your daily life, what stuff that you do when you're overwhelmed or flooded with stuff that has to get done by a certain date, because I think that this whole conversation is not just because your mental health just doesn't leave when you check out of work or leave when you're at home with your family.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel this is a bigger conversation to be had aside from just DJing and stuff, because although whatever, it's life,
you're definitely, for sure. It's definitely an everyday thing. I don't want to say an everyday battle, because I feel there's a negative connotation to that. But it's something that we face every day. For me, breathing exercises definitely help calm the nerves. Helps me. It just grounds me for that moment, especially when it comes to showtime or just showing up or doing something. I just have to breathe. And then I personally meditate every day.
Yeah, well, prayer and meditation, I think, are really big things with
100%.
With decompressing and just because everybody's always around so much energy, but what we do, we're just commanding so much energy, and what we do is
for sure,
painting the air and painting the time. I think more than anything.
So romantic, painting the air with music. That's great. That's a soundbite.
Corny.
That's a quote. That's a quote, my friends. But no, I like that painting. But it's true. We really are
and it's the energy. So sometimes you know, even if it's, obviously it's, you know, or hopefully it's good energy, you know what I mean? So like, sometimes like it's like so much energy that like you just need to be still and meditate and pray and just, that's what I said, like just be grateful for like the situation that you just created and like the good energy that you just put in, or taking people out of like bad thoughts and stuff. That's why I like to do it.
Yo, and that, you know what, now that you're talking about that, that is such a thing.
And I just feel so grateful like every time I get to like create something like that. So I, like, yeah.
I
don't really get stressed because I'm just like, wow, this is awesome.
But haven't there been like venues or situations where it's just draining, period, just because of like the people that are there, what they're doing? Because as a DJ, you see it all. Well, like, yeah. I see everything from up there. We don't have to go into details, but, and sometimes like venues themselves are known to be like a place where people can go to do other like, I guess, shiesty things, and you see it and you're playing music and you're like, I don't know, has that ever happened to you where you're like, oh man, I don't like playing here, or I don't like this gig so much?
With certain venues,
because like, it drains you.
Like, I think you just have to remain like straight with your values and everything. Like there's been a few places that have been big places that like have reached out to me, and like I'm in no position to like turn stuff down, you know, I'm not like a rock star like that, but like if they don't like represent your values or like they do stuff that you don't feel is like right, then like I wouldn't go do that. But a lot of times you don't know that until you're there, you know what I mean? So from there, you just thug it out, I guess. So at least for me. So like you're like, nah, I'm not coming back here again.
So, okay, so let's see. So you would say, so to cope with everything, you pray, meditate, I breathe. Like what else do you say you do?
Just decompress, like sit in silence, which I guess is like, you know, I literally don't think of anything. I just chill.
That's actually the best thing you can do sometimes. That is meditation in itself, that is prayer. It's just like, keeping the mind still and kind of like releasing all the anxiety, the pressures.
And the breathing too, like, because when you're in the middle of something, like the other day I didn't have an extension cord, so I used a power strip and I accidentally stepped on it and turned it off. And like, you have like hundreds of people, like, they weren't booing me, but like, they were like, ah, and I was like, oh my God. And like in that moment, all you can literally do is breathe, because like, why let it trip you out? Like, who, like,
that's so true.
What are you gonna do?
That happens.
What are you gonna do? That's why I said everything is fleeting. Like, and that's the advice that I give to like my friends whenever people ask me stuff, is like, you know, just be in the moment and like let it go. Like, you have to just let it go. And I'd be getting mad, like I'd be getting super mad at like stuff in my regular life, like in not work and stuff. But like at the same time, you just gotta let it go.
So let's go ahead and now talk a little bit about social media and like the pressures that artists feel to keep up with it, and especially if they're establishing a brand and a name for themselves. Like, how have you been able to like balance that out? Like, just, you know, you feeling good about the likes that you're getting, and then there's days that when those posts don't do well. Like, how do you just cope with all that?
Well, I think like social media is so cool. I think it's so cool for us to have like a digital book of like different events in our lives. Like I can go back to stuff from like 2015 and be like, oh my God, I completely forgot about this. So, you know, with my business page and like my public page, everything is a little bit more curated. So, you know, like you just hope that it does well. I don't really eat off my Instagram as much as some other people do. And that being said, like I don't like have that much feeling towards it. I post like personal photos and stuff on a private account, and that's how I like to share things with like my friends and family and stuff. But like with my work account, you know, like it's hard looking at other people and looking at people. Obviously everybody's posting like their good day. Nobody's posting their losses and stuff. So you just have to keep that in mind, I guess, when you're scrolling, and also I guess just like limited time online. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I be on my phone, but like when I'm on Instagram, chances are on my personal page and not really on my public page, because seeing like this overload of just like everything just gets to you sometimes, you know what I mean? It's just like, wow, like all these people are doing like this and that, and you think about it. So I just try to step back from it. But I don't completely cut off my phone, because I'm not gonna like front and be like, yeah, I don't touch my phone. Yeah. That's not true. But I do know some people do that. Some people have like hours that they set. I think even Pee-wee might have told me that like she has her phone on Do Not Disturb from certain hours to certain hours. And like, I know a lot of people like schedule their Instagram time, or try to keep, Instagram tells you like how long you're on. Mm-hmm. Try to keep it under like 30 minutes. Try to keep it under an hour.
Yeah, I definitely know people who are like
they pay attention
conscious
to that. Of it. I don't think it's necessarily that important to me, but if you're the type of person who you know that you like start tripping up about it or become obsessive, then I think like setting those boundaries for yourself can be very healthy, because you can't get caught up in like this make-believe world that we live in, like on our phones, on our screens, you know?
Right. It's so funny because, I mean, you would assume it's easy to kind of like pin social media like the bad guy and like, oh, it's so consuming, and oh man, I measure my self-worth with the amount of likes I get. But the way I view it, the way I manage my social media, because I do eat off of it. I have gotten campaigns and I have gotten, paid to like promote things. I look at it as strictly work, and it's about putting out content. And I have like the 3 pillars that I post, which is like fashion, events, and sometimes quotes, like motivational stuff. And
so staying organized like that like keeps you just like,
yeah, like I don't take it personal per se, because it's like work. And then if something doesn't, I guess, pop off the way I expected, it's like, well, how can I go ahead and I'm a little more logical about it. I'm like, okay, so how can I post better content that's more impactful? Like I see it more as like a tool. Yeah, not so much as a way to like for just validation per se. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, if I put up a selfie and a picture gets 600 and the other one gets 400, I'm gonna be like, damn. I'm like, what's up with this one? But I mean, I try not to get too much in my feels. Like I know what it's about. Also, like the way I've curated my feed is like I mute accounts that I feel like don't add to my my day.
I think that's important. Like that feature's probably there for a reason. You know what I mean? If you see stuff that hurts you, don't look at it. Don't compare yourself.
Yeah.
Don't, like, life is too short to live like that. Like,
I definitely use it like sometimes even as like a vision board of sorts, like to kind of motivate me or to kind of get me through the day. So like I've muted so many accounts. Sorry y'all, I don't see a lot of your stuff, but I put a lot of like the DJs that are doing the stuff that I want to do. Like I want to see that, because I'm like, yo, I'm gonna be there one day. Yeah, like quotes from different speakers. Like I want to see that, because man, sometimes like I look at my phone and it's like, oh, this is exactly what I needed to hear or see. Like it's the synchronicity of stuff. So like I'll use it to my advantage, and I just try not to get too carried away with it. I don't know. But what about Lizzo? Did you remember that one story that I don't know if it was a story or if it was a live.
I remember she did a video where she was like, played the flute for the first time, and that shit went crazy.
Well, what I was actually talking about, because one thing that I wanted to talk about is how we can use social media as a tool to like raise awareness and to speak on mental health in the industry. And Lizzo has admitted to suffering from, she suffers from chronic depression. So she has leveraged her social media to speak on it, and to even like you said, artists don't post about their bad days. Well, she does. She's gone on lives where she's just crying. She's like, y'all, I have everything at my fingertips, and yet I'm still sad, and it's okay to feel sad.
I remember seeing that.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Even I was like, I felt compelled. Like she was like my homie. I was like, girl, get better. Like I don't even know, like if she's gonna read it. I'm like, get better. Everyone can make it through. Like power on. And I think it's also very not uplifting. That's not the word at all.
It creates community. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And like this time, community is the most important thing you can have, and I think that's what's like so magical about the internet and stuff, is that it can build a community of like-minded people that maybe you didn't feel like you actually have in your physical community, or that it's not big enough in your physical community. So I think that's like a really big thing. If you feel like, misunderstood or misrepresented, or you don't have a voice, finding people online that can be that voice for you, I think can be super important.
Yeah, for sure.
And just like learning and educating yourself about like new things.
So do you believe, what do you believe, do you believe on speaking on these mental health issues? Social media, would you, if you're kind of going through something major like that,
would I share something?
Would you feel empowered, like as a person who is in front of other people, who is a personality of sorts? Would you feel like, you know what, I'm gonna share this part of me because maybe it can help someone else? Like, would you do it?
Would you do it? I don't know, do you do it? I feel like you do that already. I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of like a little bit more introverted and reserved than a lot of other people. And I feel like, as an artist, you're very expressive, and I feel like maybe I'm just expressive in maybe different ways. Like, I don't know, even doing the podcast, like, it's like not difficult, but like, it's hard to find the words, so I don't know if I would like preach shit, because I don't like have the words to preach it. You know what I mean?
I know for me, because mental health is,
and I wouldn't want to, that's not to interrupt again, but like talk on shit that I don't know what I'm talking about because I don't want to, like I just don't believe in that. You know what I mean? Like you gotta be confident in what the fuck you're saying.
I guess, but you still don't, but the thing is like mental health is everyone goes through it. You don't have to be like
not a doctor or nothing like that. I know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like. I feel like compared to like your account, like yours is way more polished. I feel like mine is more gritty and more like homies and shit like that. So yeah, I guess. But yeah.
I know for me, because mental health has been kind of like very prevalent in my life and in my family and my close friends, and I've been exposed to a lot of different things. There are some common trends and like sentiments throughout that community. And as somebody who has dealt with it firsthand, I will say certain things where every so often I'll leverage my platform or my following to say, hey, it's okay to speak on these issues. Hey, it's okay to seek for help. Or hey, I'm here. I've literally gone on Facebook and posted and say, if you need a friend to talk to, this is my number. You call me if you're going through something. Or even on social media, like if you need to talk to someone, I've literally told people, slide into my DMs, talk to me. And people have talked to me about, like, for me being like, I guess, a figure, I guess, in the queer community. Girls have gone into my DMs and talked to me about how difficult it is to come out to their parents, how difficult it is to deal with like relationships in their families, like their sister is dating someone who's 20 years their senior and they don't, this is how they feel about it. And you'd be very surprised like how people would just feel like, oh man, I have someone to talk to. And maybe the fact that
it's not face to face.
Yeah, face to face, or somebody from their neighborhood, and it's someone because there's that whole social media gives us all that little pedestal thing. So the fact that they can talk to someone so cool.
Yeah.
They also,
I don't know, to be honest, and it's something that we've discussed before. Like I feel like I do downplay myself sometimes, but like I do get like hella DMs of people being like oh, like blah blah blah. And, like I just don't answer them because I don't feel like I'm in that position to give that advice or to talk about stuff with people. But I guess that's just something that I need to graduate from.
Well, you don't need to. Also, because another thing is talking about mental health. Like that's also taxing on yourself.
Yeah, and you're not. You don't have to do stuff that you don't want to do.
You don't. You really don't. It's just like I said, for me specifically, because I've dealt with it on a very personal level, and I feel like it's like kind of like not a calling, but it's like.
Why not help people if you can't?
Yeah, especially if you find yourself having the same conversations with the closest people in your life about mental health. It's like, hey, anyone else out there, you need a friend, like I'm also here, like I got you, I understand you, like we can talk about it. I sat through therapy sessions with people, with family, like I'm here to help, Also, we're gonna somehow, wherever this is uploaded, I'm gonna put like resources and links and stuff that, in case you want help, you want to seek out help in your community. I think it's so important. I think, like you said, building community, talking to people about your issues, and knowing that you're not alone is such a game changer, for sure.
And that's why, it's not a Soundwave plug, but that's why I think what we do is so special, because it's just about building that community of girls that we can share love for, you know what I mean?
That's true, and it's girls of all different levels of their career, like people who've been at it for years, and other people who are just getting into it, and it's just coming in and even I guess playing field and saying look, these are some of the struggles, these are some of the opportunities. How can we help each other? How can we talk about this? How can we get through this as a group? And just move forward. So to wrap up the first part of mental health and wellness, so some of the things that we learned today are how to be healthy, communicate, find a community. We're gonna have links down below of different resources that you can use and reach out to, phone numbers to find that help. What are some of your takeaways from today's show?
I think everything you do, you should do with intention. So when you open your phone and you're gonna go make a post, know that there's a person there who's watching it. You know what I mean? Don't try to be hurtful on purpose. I know people love being shady and thinking that they got the best clapbacks, but at the end of the day, it's just who fucking cares? Just be cool, like that's it. You know?
I mean, yeah, I guess that's for the social media aspect of it, but I guess in general for mental health, for sure.
Well, that's mental health because don't dwell on shit that doesn't need to be dwelled on.
Well, I definitely think that for like what we talked about earlier, just learning how to ground yourself, center yourself, how to learn how to disconnect, clean your space, understand that you are dealing with a lot of personalities and people, and we are very much affected by that. So it's good to just take care of number one so that you can be the best at all the things that you do. So we're definitely gonna have a part 2 where we're gonna keep on diving deeper into mental health and wellness,
with a special
eating
guest.
healthy, also how mental health has affected prominent celebrities, and again more tips on how to, I guess, tackle these difficult subjects and times. So keep it locked. We are Miami Soundwave. I'm Bonnie Beats.
I'm Kira.
And
stay tuned for part 2.
Part 2.